We're all here. We can all see. We can all hear. Everything good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sound. Okay. Jacob sideways.
When I'm sideways, it's my webcam crooked.
There we go. And then just put it up a bit.
And then what?
Up a lot more. Further. There we go. Perfect. No.
So we are 20 years too late. We are a pop punk band from Preston in the UK. I'm doing so good, guys.
You are. You're doing better than me.
Really hammering it out. And we have decided to start doing weekly podcasts on a number of matters. That was very sophisticated, a number of matters. Basically, this week we're just going to talk about those. So let's go. So yeah, we're starting on how it started. So I guess that's me, isn't
That's
it?
you.
Yeah.
You were here
yeah.
first.
Just me. It was me. I'm
You
it.
are
I'm the
20
band.
years too late.
Is that the end?
So
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, so the band started because basically I wanted to find a reason to live. Casual. No, it means a lot to me, so I'm not gonna play it down like that. But I started the band after seeing Mayday Parade. Fun facts for the fans. All those fans we have. Shout out to Ellie and Kira.
Hi, Mum.
And I went to a Mayday Parade show and I was like, yo, this was really meaningful. I'm going to start a band. And then I made a Twitter page because obviously that's how you start a band. You don't need instruments. I don't know how to play any, FYI. And then I was just like, yo, Ollie, you know how to play an instrument. Ollie's my brother. So we started the band and we kind of grew the following on the page for a while. We had, Ryan. I'm not really going to talk more about him because
He doesn't exist.
For a while, and then it was mutually decided that he would leave. I'm not allowed to say it like that now because nobody likes him.
Casual.
And then we had Adam, who is a very, very good friend of us. Guys, I can't speak. A very good friend of mine, of Ollie's, and in turn of the band, even if they don't know him. And he's very supportive of us, even though it didn't work out with him being in the band. It was more to do with logistics and location than an actual disagreement or lack of interest or whatever. So they came and went very quickly. There was a short-lived photo shoot and that was about it. And then Jacob was asked in around the same time as them.
That's me. Is this where you want me to go in? Is this where I take over? Okay. So, yeah, I was in the opposite situation. So at the time when I got asked to be in the band, which was I think near the start, I was living in Manchester, so I couldn't actually commit to it properly. I think I said I'd try, but then we couldn't actually get any meetups going or anything like that, and I still had uni at the time, so it was difficult. And then all of a sudden, I found myself moving back to Preston. So pretty much first thing I did as soon as I knew that was going to happen is I'm going to message Sally. Let's do it. Let's do the band. I think at the time, I didn't know what instrument I was going to play in the band because I think Ollie was originally the drummer. And then Sally was like, oh, so what do you want to play? And I was like, well, I used to play guitar and I used to play drums, but right now I don't play anything. So I'll go for drums, which in hindsight might have been a mistake because drums are exhausting after a while. But
yeah, so I think at the time Ollie had kind of said he was happy to do either because I mean there was only me and Ollie left, and Ollie can play well pretty much anything, but like
It's a bit of a
he
virtuoso,
prefers
that
like yeah he kind of prefers like drums or guitar, and he'd very much said like he'd be happy to step up and do guitar instead of drums, mainly because we didn't have a drum kit probably. But we did have multiple guitars.
None of which were being used at this point.
So then Jacob stepped in and said he would play drums, which was awesome. So then me and Jacob stepped to it. And, well, to be fair, we didn't find the room first. We decided to book a photo shoot.
Important thing.
yeah,
yeah,
Don't
so
get
we
your
booked a
face
photo
on.
shoot. Look, I have a master plan.
It's just different to everybody else's.
And I want it, like, in terms of our branding as a band, we'd been a band since 2017, but there were no photos of a band in sight. So I knew we needed photos of us as a band. So we booked a photo shoot. Unfortunately, the photos didn't come quite as quick as we anticipated. And I think by the time we actually got them, we had found a rehearsal room, which Jacob actually arranged. So Jacob can tell you about that.
yeah. So we were looking for like months because I moved back from Manchester to Preston in September, and then we were looking from September until like February for a room, and we were just asking everywhere we can find. And then I think we found someone who had rehearsal rooms in Bolton, though they had space in a room in Bolton, but also ran somewhere in Preston. So I messaged them in general, just being like, oh, I know you've got space in Bolton, but if you can, find some in Preston, that'd be great. And that just kind of worked out rather quickly after that. So I think it was March by the time we actually got the room. But then...
Yeah, it all went really quickly, didn't it? Like, by the time you'd messaged him, I think we were in, like, within a month or two, like...
I think we did like a tour of it.
Oh my God, yeah, we did. He was like, these are the stairs, and this is the lift. And then he took us on, like... But when you first get there, it's like a labyrinth going round the thing. You don't realise it's just one circle. And then going through that weird little door... and up the corridor. Oh my God. When I went back there on my own for the first time, I couldn't find our room. Like, I genuinely couldn't find it. I was walking around for like, I don't even know how long, but I was like genuinely getting stressed. I nearly went home. I was like, I can't find our room. Where's our room? Like, I've walked around this circle like 10 times. I've walked through that door and I can see the lift and a corridor, and I don't think I'm meant to go that way. So I've gone back, and it was through that door, like, but yeah, like, so we finally got our room, and then I brought in, ironically, only after we'd finally gone to see a studio, we brought in Connor, who is actually no longer a member by the time we're recording this, but he was with us for a while, and we did have some good times with him. And he came in, basically we knew him because, well, I knew him and Ollie knew him because we grew up with him, and kind of our parents know each other, I guess. And we brought him in as bassist. And we trialed him, but I think at the time we were just so desperate for a bassist, we were just like, it's done. Like, yeah, you're trialing, but is it a trial? You're just here. And from that point, we were like working towards recording, and like working up to the point where Alan came in, I think.
Yeah, because I was as the video was being filmed for Trouble.
All right, yeah. So I think before that we actually did go and record everything. So we recorded 3 songs, and
did we, Jacob?
No. So no. I can explain the situation without saying what actually like.
Explain it
or
without
anything.
explaining it.
No. So
Okay.
we recorded 3. 2 of them we just weren't happy with, like how
Yeah,
they came out.
fairs.
So we've maybe bin them off. Maybe we'll re-record them. Who knows?
Still
And
got
then as we,
files.
yeah, as we were shooting the music video to release Trouble, that's when Alan came in then. So I think I'll let Alan take that over.
Yeah. So me and Jacob, we'd met through, I guess, both was previous jobs now, but you still work in the same building for the same company, just in a different role. But
No, I think I had the same role then.
oh well. So we ended up at a mutual friend's for a party of some descript. It was just after New Year, so it wasn't a New Year party. But at that point, me and Jacob a bit drunk, and it was back when I smoked. So we go outside for a cigarette on this balcony. Jacob's like, "Oh, I'm in a band." I'm like, "Oh, I'd love to be in a band. Do you need a bassist?" "Oh, you know what? We needed one, but if I knew you'd played bass, I'd ask you." And I'm like, "Well, did Craig, our mutual friend, not tell us?" Like, "No, but I mentioned it to him multiple times that we needed a bassist." His excuse, he didn't know I played bass, even though at the time I had 2 basses in the house that me and him shared. So, like, okay.
Great watching this. Like,
It's like, oh no. But it's okay because I got needy and went, I also play lead guitar. I promise I'm good at this. So at that point, he's like, yeah, I'll see what they say. And I'm like, no, say yes now. Just take me. He's like, oh, I'll put it to them. We'll see what they say. Okay. So like, a few days pass, and Jacob says, yeah, come down this Tuesday. Do you know where the rehearsal room is? Like, yeah, I've been once before. But if you meet me at the door, because I don't know my way around. And then I think the day before, I then got a message off Jacob going, yeah, don't come tomorrow. We're actually recording a music video. So I'm like, right, okay, great.
oh, bless you.
Yeah. And then
If we'd known you were going to be a staple, you could have come.
Yeah, well, you know, Jacob should have known this already. But sadly, awful. Absolutely. I mean, I was in the music video somewhere.
Yeah, just not with an
Cameo
instrument.
role.
That's it, cameo role in the band that I'm a part of. And then so I ended up coming the week after and having a nice little jam. Wasn't much of a trial, it was more, hi, I'm Alan, I'm here now.
Yeah, it was.
Deal with it.
Yeah, I think when you arrived though, you just gelled so well with everyone. Like we kind of put out that we were trialing you because we trial any new member, but I think you gelled really quickly with everyone in a different way, and it just meant that you gelled really well with the band as a whole. So we were just like, dope, and we need a lead guitarist, so this is good.
I was so happy. Like,
He was.
Like one of the first things he said was like, "Told you I need a lead guitarist." I'm like, okay.
I was like, I told you, but okay. He's funny. I love him. Yeah, so that covers. Oh well, obviously, we lost Connor like last week. A number of days ago.
But yeah.
Yeah, as of recording.
It was made official the other day.
Yeah, we
kicked him off Discord.
We put out an official statement a few days ago saying that Connor has left the band. It was actually his decision. I will clarify that. Like obviously, I made a joke before that like in the past we put out a statement that when Ryan left, it was a mutual decision. This is actually Connor's decision. We had a chat with him about how things were going, and he has other commitments and stuff, and that's fine. You know, we wish him all the best, and we will move forward as we are and take things as they come, and it'll be good. It'll be vibey.
Yeah.
So that covers the members. because Ollie's not here to have a little speech, but you know, he's my brother and everyone knows Ollie. Everyone loves Ollie.
If you don't know
Like,
Ollie, know him.
If he was here, I think people would be surprised and wonder what was wrong. Right. What else? So we've covered members. Let's talk about the room itself then and the building. So when we first moved into the room, it was, so we share the room. We share the room with another band. But we kind of have like half the room. Like we move our shit at the end. I probably shouldn't have sworn then. Oops.
We'll beep it out in post.
But like we kind of have like half the room to store our stuff and practice and whatever. And like that's fine. We get along with the other band. It's chill. Like we've seen some situations where some of the bands have been sharing and the vibe's not been so chill, and we are glad we are not them. But like when we first got there, we had like nothing. Like Jacob got his kit new to move in there, and I came in with a little guitar amp and a mic and a cable, and Ollie had basically the same, like a little guitar amp and a cable and my guitar.
And my guitar.
and then yeah, Jacob brought his guitar in and I brought some other stuff in. And we built up this little collection, but we weren't doing great. And then I developed this idea that we were gonna get a full setup, like a mixer and a PA amp and speakers and stuff. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. Everyone else has that. Why can't we? So I bought a desk. I was getting well ahead of myself. I was like, right, we need a desk to store our cables in and to put the mixer on.
All 2 cables. Needed 3 minutes.
I was like, yeah. I was thinking ahead though. Look at how overstuffed that desk is now.
Yeah, we might need to get a new one.
Yeah, legit. I think we need a bigger desk now because we want a bigger mixer as well. Yeah. But that's beside the point. So yeah, and then we eventually managed to salvage some speakers.
Repurpose them, rehome them.
Yeah. Some nice homeless speakers that we weren't even sure if we could take at the time.
Stealing is wrong.
No, so they were just hidden around a corner and we were like, what do we do? And like we didn't want them to go, so we got back to the room and we're like, right, let's just message the guy who runs the place and just see what's gonna happen. He was like, oh, they're just gonna be thrown away. So we can take them for free. And it was at the end that we just ran over and grabbed all of them. Yeah,
and like it all started because Ollie had found a mixer around there and he was like, yo, I found a mixer, and we were like, found in what sense? Where did you find it? And then he was like, oh, there's loads of stuff. So we managed to like MacGyver this like mixer and like weird speaker setup, and none of it ever worked perfectly. Like you could never get all of it to work together at the same time. There was always some function going wrong one week, and Ollie would end up losing his rag about it, or I would. One of us was always unhappy. like come on guys, if that doesn't describe the problem perfectly.
Yeah, and then that's just me just like
unhappy, or I was unhappy. There was never a perfect middle ground.
Yeah, no.
That was the old setup in a nutshell.
It was beautiful.
And like we were constantly jigging it around and trying to like make it better. We're like, maybe if we unplug this one and plug it back into that one, and it's like, no, we just need two speakers. But we were poor. I mean, we still are poor.
Still very
poor. We're not rich now.
It's expensive to do this stuff.
Yeah. Anyone thinking of starting a band,
be prepared.
Follow
to
your
put
dreams, but be aware that it costs so much to put in for the equipment. Like I knew I was gonna have to like buy a new mic and stuff when I went in. I was just using like an old one that used to be like my dad's or whatever. But like when I bought my new mic, and this doesn't even compare to the stuff that they bought, but my new mic, just like a microphone, was like 170 quid. And like,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah.
if you're just thinking of becoming a musician, you are not going to be calculating those kind of costs.
No.
Yeah.
I think I worked out recently, like I've spent like a good few grand just on my stuff.
Yeah.
Not even like the band stuff, just on my stuff.
I've not even got
Yeah.
stuff to show for it anymore. But yeah. Like, and then what then doesn't help is when stuff breaks and just fully
Yeah.
gives up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I.e. the amp.
Yeah.
And the old
So
mixer.
we the mixer did eventually give up on us, which to be fair, we were well, not the mixer, we weren't as prepared for. We do have like a system now where we're kind of saving as a band to put towards the bigger equipment that we all collectively use, that we consider like band property. So even if you leave, that equipment is the band's, so get over it. So like stuff like the PA amp and like things like that, we buy collectively, and it makes it cheaper for all of us for starters. But it also means that obviously if one person leaves and it belonged to them, they don't take it with them because that would fuck over the band. So yeah. But yeah, the costs of things like that, like I know going into like, I think I definitely did have an idea that we would need to get all that, but I don't think I ever sat down and thought, how much is this going to cost in the first year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely not.
I think I definitely thought, oh God, this is going to cost loads. And I think I definitely had like a realistic idea of what things were going to cost. Maybe not microphones. I didn't think microphones were going to be that expensive. But like other stuff, like I knew that we were going to be buying, like I didn't think we were going to be working from amps. I always knew I wanted to work from like a mixer and speakers and like stuff like that. So I think I always had a realistic idea of that, but I don't think I ever in my head kind of added up this is all going to have to come up together like really quickly, because the second you get in a rehearsal room, you kind of need to start making noise.
Yeah.
Preferably more noise than the drum kit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to always be an issue for everyone else and not me.
Well.
Yeah. But I think to be fair, we have done quite well in terms of like managing to just wing it.
I think we got quite lucky in a few times as well, though. With like,
yeah, definitely. Like, obviously, Jacob, you helped me out when I needed my new mic, and I paid you back when I had the money.
Yeah.
And I got Ollie his pedal for Christmas because we'd be a bit like, he really needed that because his pedal was just making weird noises. You obviously got the speakers.
Yeah, they just literally fell on our lap for free, like really expensive speakers. And I was obviously like, how much do you want for them? And it's like, what do you mean? I'll take them. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
If only everything was that easy.
If everything was that easy, we would have a lot more equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I would have a room, I would have a house full of guitars. You would have to go through a maze of them just to be able to use the toilet.
Sounds really fun, actually.
Yeah.
Not
for the like that, not needing the toilet, but
no, it'd be awful if like
the maze.
You were just getting home. You're like, I really need the loo. If I don't go right this second, I'm going to burst. And then you see the maze in front of you. You can't knock it over because each guitar's worth $1,000. And you're like, I can't do this. I'm going outside.
Not even that I'm going to conquer the maze or just I've learned the maze that well.
Pants down, squat, done.
Oh, what's this evolved into already?
It's just who we are, innit?
Well, my notes on
Fair.
Jacob starts body popping next, so.
I kept that out of mine specifically. I was like, if I put that in, I'm going to say it. So moving on from that quite quickly, unless anyone else has anything to say about equipment.
No.
As hard as it is, don't skimp out on equipment when you're buying it, because even though it's more expensive, it'll last you a lot longer. Like, I bought a cheap guitar and I'm having problems with it because like it just doesn't make sound sometimes. Jacob had a cheap drum kit, obviously have to say had because he just got a great deal on his new one, and it sounded awful. Not because of his playing mainly.
Yeah, mainly.
mainly.
Half of it was I didn't know how to tune it well, but
yeah, and the speakers, like, granted they were free, but still, you need to put in what you're willing to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you are starting a band or are thinking of starting a band, the best thing you can do is start saving now.
Yeah.
Like, or if you've got the money, like, research what you want to get. Like, don't just buy the first thing you see unless you can see that it's a really good deal and it's going to end now. Like, because like I did the same. I bought a new mic because it was like on a deal and cheap and whatever, and then I had to get a new one within like the same year, and obviously that time I didn't skimp out on it. Like, it's really important to like make sure you're getting the right equipment. Make sure you're getting the right equipment for you. It's not just about the right equipment in general as well. Like, it needs to be right for you as a person, like, because like every musician is different as well.
If you have the ability to test it out,
definitely
it's
do
hard
that.
at the minute, definitely do, especially if you're playing an instrument and not just singing, because although microphones can sound different, the feel of drumsticks, the feel of guitars, the feel of the strings, what you're actually hitting, it can really change how well you can play. And you got to find what fits you.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're going in with the mentality of you just want to have fun, then by all means just get the cheapest equipment possible to begin with and then see how it goes. But if you're serious about this, don't skimp on it from the start. You just need to like go all in from the very beginning. And to be fair, I feel like with the resources that I've had, I feel like I have. Like, because obviously I don't have a lot of money, so I feel like I've put what I could into my equipment, but I kind of wish that first mic I bought, I'd saved the money and got the one I've got now and just skipped that middle section, but I was so desperate for a new one then.
Yeah, I'm just overly happy that I kept that multi-effects pedal board all them years. Like, don't get me wrong, I tried selling it in the past because it didn't have a power supply, and places don't seem to want to buy something when you just buy a power supply from Poundland. It was quite lucky for me because all I needed was to buy my own guitar, which we had, like you said, we've got like tons in the room anyway. But it's always nicer to find your own.
Yeah.
So from there, like the sound, we started getting more and more from it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. The more each person adds to their own equipment, the more we do hear a change. Like when I got my new mic, it definitely changed our sound. And like even when you guys just restring.
Yeah, well, I definitely need to do that at the minute. But everyone so.
Yeah, like even when you guys do something as simple as restring, it like upgrades our sound.
Yeah.
You can tell when Jacob's changed his cymbals, or his skins, or like even when he's dropped a stick and changed it for a new one.
Yeah. Especially them fancy ones you've got.
That doesn't happen often.
No. You just tend to yeet them at me. I'll turn around and there's just this pile of sticks that have all luckily missed me.
or maybe I skillfully miss you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing as well is sweating the small stuff, like making sure you've got strings and picks and drumsticks and like anything you could possibly need, because the number of times we've had to call off a practice halfway through because we haven't had strings and someone snapped one. And like that time when I had to run off and borrow a pick for Ollie from another band, like it's great that the mill is like that and all the bands are so interlinked and we're all mates and we can do that. But like, you don't want to be in a position where you don't have a guitar string when you're going on stage.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be prepared at all times, and the more rehearsal you can get in and like whatever, the better you're going to feel about stuff. I actually went to a show of my friend's who broke his guitar string on his first song on stage, and then he had to stand at the side of the stage awkwardly asking other band members if he could borrow a guitar to finish his set, and nobody would lend him one.
Yeah. Well, good from them, because I once borrowed a guitar, and because I wasn't used to it, it was this beautiful white guitar I borrowed at one of like gigs when I was a kid, and I didn't realize, but I'd cut my finger on one of the strings. This beautiful white guitar was just bathed in red. And I handed it back, and I didn't even realize when I had it back. I thanked him for it. He looked at it and went, "Oh my God." I went, "Oh." So there are reasons people won't give you the instruments, and I am.
No, yeah, and I absolutely stand by that. Like, I'm not bad-mouthing the guy who wouldn't lend it. It's on the person in question who broke his string,
Yeah,
and didn't have a spare one at his first ever solo show where he was playing an acoustic set.
I mean, that just tells me though that he just didn't change them in a while and was hoping.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You can break new strings, but it's rare.
Oh, I've done it. I have done it.
I've watched you do it, Alan.
Never ever done it ever, except maybe a few times. Like I did it the other day by accident because I didn't pay attention to which way my strings were going on, and put the wrong string in the wrong place, tightened it up, and it just snapped.
Ollie is the worst for doing it, and it ruins like a whole practice. Like he'll be restringing a guitar.
Well, he only changes one string now. He changes the one he breaks and then just like waits for the rest to go.
I think that's why.
I break one, I'm like, right, they're all going. Start again.
I think it's because he used to restring the whole lot, and inevitably, whilst doing so, he would break one of the new ones, and then it would flip him out, and he'd be gone for the rest of practice, and we'd all be like, you know what, fair.
The amount of times early on when I joined that I'd break a string on one guitar, take one off another, break another string, and just start like taking strings from different guitars that we had that weren't fully strung up anyway, and just hoping it stayed together.
Pretty sure some of the guitars are still like that. Like you'll go and they'll just be like a guitar with like 2 strings on it.
Yeah.
At some point, I feel like when we go back after COVID is fully over, we need to string them all.
Yeah. Just in case.
Acoustic and electric alike. We need to just string them all up, make sure they're all ready.
I like the Wii.
Yeah, you're a part of this too, mate.
Well,
you don't
I
want
pay
me
for them
stringing.
all. I pay for all the fucking strings except the odd pack that Alan buys.
Thank you. The odd pack is all I do.
Yeah, you occasionally buy them for your guitar and then sometimes take them from mine as well.
I occasionally buy some as well.
You bought them once.
Yeah, and that wasn't an
time.
occasion. And that wasn't an occasion, so occasionally.
I'll buy like 3 packs, and Alan will take like 1 or 2 of those 3 packs, and then he'll be like, I'll buy the next pack. And then he'll string his guitar, and then I'll buy the next like 3 pack. And I'm like, this doesn't feel like it's fair, considering not only do I not play guitar, but this is not fair.
I just really like strings.
He's consuming them.
I heard if
It's
you boil,
a secret.
don't boil your strings. side of rice.
Heard it here first, guys.
Why am I hungry now?
I'm actually starving, I'm not gonna lie.
You know what? I've got food waiting for me just like right there, and I stopped eating it for this. And
you kind of
the
died
noise
off
level,
there.
like for this.
Wow, guys,
I
there
would
you go.
start. I would start, but then it'd be like an advertisement for a company that aren't paying us to advertise. So
Oh, sounds like Monster.
We're
No.
talking. Oh, don't know. I was going to see if I had one.
I've only got one
Um,
drink here. Oh, that,
I've got my cup that Alan broke.
yeah. It looks like it's working fine to me. I saw the liquid go up that straw.
Hardly anything comes out of it anymore. You broke the straw off.
I'll put it back on.
No, it's not meant to come off.
I didn't purposely take it off. It fell off when I was doing the little like chimney sweep thing with it.
Oh, I can't wait for a gift to come out of that. A gift? A gift.
Okay. Okay. We're not going there. Right. That's so funny. That's actually so funny. Can't believe you broke my cup.
Can't believe
Right.
you to clean it. Right, yeah.
Moving on. So we've talked about how the band started and how each member joined and the mill and the band room. I think we've covered that in general. And we've given advice on starting a band. Well, the costs of starting a band.
Yeah. Expenses.
So let's talk about kind of everyone's experience of being in the band, of being in our band, of being on stage, of performing. Like, anyone? Someone take.
Who wants to go first? I can go first if you want.
Go on.
Go for
Okay. And I'll start at the beginning,
it. That's usually
Okay.
the best place.
which is as a child I
very
played.
good place to start.
As a child, I'd played trumpet in a band,
Oh,
in a brass band, and I was very, very good at it. And it was good. And we went on marches and we did competitions. And then I became like, I turned 15 and was too emo for that.
you can play sad things on trumpet.
No, I was too emo for that. I was like, no, I'm going to play guitar now. And then I played guitar. By play guitar, I mean never actually learn anything and just occasionally look up tabs for a song that I might want to learn. Yeah. And then me and Sally were in a band together in high school where I played guitar. And that was fun. I mean, we only ever did covers, and the band was called Second Base.
Oh God, yeah.
And we were basically a cover band because we were in school, and that's all you did in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
And
thought
then,
we were so cool though.
yeah, and then if you look at the official band Facebook or whatever it was, I left by mutual consent.
I'm really good at writing
here.
this.
Which basically means I got kicked out.
I like to kick people out, but say it was like a mutual decision. Like
I agreed to it,
no.
so you all agreed to it.
Well, no, I make them agree. I'm like, yo, you're leaving. You can decide whether it's like
Mutually your fault.
yeah. You can decide whether you were kicked out or whether it was a mutual decision. And most of the time they're like, yeah, it was a mutual decision. Jacob, I didn't actually have anything to do with it. I said to the boys that I was leaving because of Jacob, and they chose to kick Jacob out instead. That shows how popular he was at the time.
Still as popular as ever, actually.
Yay.
Well,
Jacob.
But so then after that, I went in college. I was in a band. I'm pretty sure the band was called Needs More Cowbell. And again, that was just a cover band because we were in college and we were awful. But we were playing. I was guitarist in that band until one day the drummer didn't show up. So then I said, "Screw it, I'll go on the drum kit instead." And I'd never played drums in my life. And then I played drums in that band for like a month before the band just kind of caved in on itself. I think it just turned out no one turned up to practice anymore, and everyone was just like, call it a day. Then I didn't play anything for like 9 years until I joined this band, and I've never played any gigs or anything like that. And yeah, that's literally the extent of my musical experience ever. You're welcome.
thank you. I'm enthralled.
So go on, tell us yours, Alan.
Me first? Okay. So I'll do something similar. My first music experience that I actually remember was when I was a little kid and I wanted to show off to my gran, and she had a little like keyboard. You know, the ones that like you press the button, it play the song for you. Right. So like, gran, cool. What I can do, press the play button, thinking she didn't see it, pretended like miming away on this keyboard. I did try and play it as well. She gave me like little books and stuff for me to try and learn. I realised I'm doing hand actions and no one can see. And then
Alan realizes he's too close.
So after that, I ended up in primary school, as most children do.
We're gonna be here all night, guys.
Yeah,
take a seat.
If they're not already sat down by this point, then damn those legs. And I started playing violin, and then I had a similar thing to Jacob, where I was like, I'm too cool to play violin. Bye. Then didn't play an instrument until year 7, because that was like year 4 or 5 that I stopped playing that. Year 7 comes along, get into high school, I'm like, I'm going to play guitar. Try getting a teacher, get bored of it, start teaching myself a little bit, and then getting my first band in year 7 as a keyboard player, because of all the times I showed off to my gran. I'm like, yeah, I can do keyboard. It was called ICE, which was short for It's Called Evolution. Which
it wasn't, it was called ICE.
Our picture was like, our logo was a picture of, you know, the ape into man thing. We never actually practiced. Like, our bassist bought a salmon pink bass, never played it once. Like, he did. Cool. We saw it, it was real. That's the furthest we got with that. That kind of fizzled out. Yeah. Is it year 9 where you choose like what GCSEs you're doing, or does that start year 10?
End of year 9.
End of year 9. So I choose music as like one of my GCSEs, and it's like, right, you got to start a band. I'm like, awesome. So we start a band, and obviously the first thing you got to do is name the band.
Oh no.
So we're trying to come up with names, and after some amazing entries such as Radiator and Table, we ended up settling on Chewbacca's Revenge, which was wonderful. Couldn't tell you what genre we were, but we did play a gig. We did practice, and we did play a gig. Granted, it was in school.
Yeah, you have to as part of GCSE.
Yeah. I think if you actually go on YouTube and search Chewbacca's Revenge, you can see us playing a Megadeth song on stage with my little electroacoustic bass, which I've still got, not in this room. Then obviously went to college after that, so that band fizzled out. Started what I would consider my first real band. Kind of. I was in about 4 bands, maybe 5 during college. So in the first year of college, 2012, obviously there was the Olympics. And me and one of my friends, Dizzy, were like, we can both kind of sing. I can play guitar now. We started like an acoustic duet and played the Olympic torch relay. So that was quite nice. It sounds big, but it was through Accrington, which if you don't know Accrington, there's like 20 people that live there. So half the town showed up. Then I was part of another band playing bass, which the only songs I can remember doing was that song from Scott Pilgrim by the band that's not the Sex Bombs.
Oh, yeah.
And something by The Cure that's like them. Probably didn't sound right, but there we go. Then I had, I don't remember the names of these bands then too, but then there was my band which I was kind of just thrown into because apparently I could do scream vocals and sing, which FYI I can't. I ended up picking up rhythm guitar because the rhythm guitarist left that one. But that was called Business as Usual. We played a couple of gigs, played in Burnley Youth Theatre. I ended up, like, we weren't primarily a metal band. We did write one song, which was awful. I didn't write the words, which is why it was awful. It's called Spider Baby. The only thing I can remember from being given the lyrics is that next to each line was either clean, high, or low, meaning clean vocals, high scream, low scream. And it kind of just alternated, went clean, high, low, chickle, low, high, low. And I was like, damn, okay. I ended up jumping off stage in that gig. Basically the only gig we did. But then the real band started off Finding Dakota because the lead singer at the time, who was awful, no offense to that guy, was a real big Stereophonics fan. We wanted to be a pop punk band. He wanted to play acoustic guitar with us, just kind of there shaking our heads. We kicked him out. I became the lead singer, played bass. We had a guitarist, a drummer, and we changed our name to Friends with a Sister because Yumi at 6. We played many gigs, mainly in pubs. Didn't write any songs, but we're a really good cover band. I think we're a really good cover band. Nobody left the pub, but nobody came in either. So we kind of just stuck with whoever was there, which is mainly the people we invited.
So the people outside heard it and thought, nah.
Pretty much, yeah, I'll pass that. I could hear that singer. No. But yeah, so we did like pubs in Accrington, Blackburn, Burnley. We ended up not bringing in enough people to the one in Burnley because it was a last minute change. And I'm just saying people couldn't make it, not that they didn't want to come and pay to see us. And we ended up having to pay the door staff because they had to work and we only brought like 3 people to a venue that could hold 200. So, yeah. Left that, did a few like open mic nights on my own, tried a band in uni as the singer with the bassist of Business as Usual. Didn't work out. Left uni, and then here we are.
Well, that was very detailed.
It was. I left out quite a bit.
I do have to point out the fact that, so for college, which is a non-mandatory thing, you decided to say, so obviously I went to college.
I don't know.
And then for primary school, which is a mandatory thing, you said, I ended up in primary school.
English is not my first language.
What is?
I'll tell you when I know myself, to be honest, mate. It's summit. It's definitely summit.
Okay, well, following on from Alan, this is going to be easy. So
the bloody Abe's Odyssey kind of deal.
Yeah, like I kind of wish I'd gone in between. I think this is just like Alan ramble. Yeah, so like obviously this is my like baby. 20 Years Too Late is my little darling. Like,
I was kind of hoping you said pony, to be honest, but
she said my little.
Yeah.
Started as like my dream in my heart. And like, I think it kind of existed before I even brought it to life. But like, I think realistically, in terms of projects, other than the band with Jacob, but we'll get to that in a minute.
It's coming back.
this is my first like huge like musical project. Like I grew up in a family where like, well, my whole family is musical. Like my mum, my granddad, my uncles, my aunties, my cousins, like so on and so forth. Everyone is musical. Like literally everyone. Like don't even get me started. And then basically Ollie was encouraged to do music and I was encouraged to do school. So I never really did music. But I always really wanted to. But I kind of felt like I wasn't really supported to do music. And I felt very like pushed to be academic, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it felt like I've obviously come quite late to something that a lot of people have already been pursuing for most of their life when they want to do that. But I'm okay with that. Like it's my band, my pals. It's fine. We're doing it. It's happening. I guess like when I was like little, I don't know, I probably like sang karaoke and shit at parties. Like we literally any party we have karaoke because we're a singing family. So it's musical. And then like me and Ollie live stream. We did quite a lot of that for a while. Like there was a point where we were doing it like 2 or 3 times a week. We were like live streaming on I don't know if it was like Musically or Lively or whatever it was called, but like and we would just sit and like sing on there, and that was pretty dope. Because we didn't have to leave the house for it. So and like I've sung at Roper for karaoke and stuff like that. So there's that, I guess. Me and Ollie did the London meetup, which you guys weren't around for.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hopefully for future acoustic meetups, you guys will be around and you can come do that. Because that was really fun. That was genuinely really fun. We like trekked it up to London. We went and sat in the middle of Leicester Square, and we just got the guitar out and we were just vibing, and like some people came and sat with us, and obviously 10:05 were with us. But then people were like stopping, and like some people would come and just sit with us if they had the time and sing with us, and like some people were filming us, and it was dope. It was just such a cool hangout, and it would be like way better if we had like the whole band. So with like legit, I'm so desperate to do more stuff like that. Like that was so fun. And then obviously outside of this band, I had second base
with Jacob. That is a sentence.
When I was like 15, 16, I was in a band with Jacob, second base, and Jacob was
a very good and loyal member to the band. Thank you, Sally.
Jacob was a bit of a player and messed up his status in the band because of it, basically.
I mean, just look how cute he is, though, now.
I mean, you put it the nice way. I'll take that.
Yeah, he used to be very, very, very cute. That was the problem.
Yeah, I did. I was a bad person, but now I'm not as bad a person. No, not quite.
Jacob has a bassist problem. That's why Connor left.
For just £1 a month, you can help Jacob overcome his problem with bassists.
Or bassist addiction.
Link in the comments to donate. Oh my god. No, real talk though, me and Jacob are fine. Like, we weren't at the time. Not gonna lie.
I'm glad you are now. Like,
I think
all
But we're over it
otherwise.
now.
it took a few
It's-
years.
Oh god, yeah, it did. No, to be fair, it only took 1 year. You wrote in my yearbook, so we were friends by then.
Yeah, I think then we just kind of didn't speak for a while, so it wasn't that we'd fallen out after that. It was just
Yeah, it was more that I just accepted that we were leaving school, and I was like, we can talk now. But we're not going to.
but we can.
But for these final days of school, I will bestow my friendship on you once more.
I hope you'll like loved Jacob.
Yeah, for
Oh,
those
man.
few days / weeks, I felt quite loved.
I was also in a band with some friends very briefly, but it never took off. Like, they asked me to go and audition for them. They were like, we want a singer. Can you sound like the lead singer from Hailstorm? And I was, at the time, I'd never listened to Hailstorm. And they sent me a song and they were like, can you learn this? So I learned it. And then I went over and we ended up just playing Truth or Dare. And then the band was never mentioned again. Such is the age of 16, apparently.
That is a true player right there. I'm going to risk everything to end up making out with someone that I don't find attractive. Just have 30 seconds.
So yeah, that's like my musical experience summed up. This is my band. This is my baby. This is going to work out. Moving swiftly on. Let's talk about. Oh, you look so anticipatory. Like, I was actually ready with this one. My point was ready, but then you both just were like.
Sorry, I'll
What is
look
it?
away.
And I was like,
I'll
I
just
want to
look at
leave him
Jacob.
in suspense. Like, right, no, come on. Let's. Now I don't want to say it again. Let's talk about the setbacks we faced and what we're looking forward to.
Yes. Oh yeah. I guess I started mumbling, so I'll go.
Just starts talking, everyone waits. He's like, wait, you actually want me to do this?
No. So I got confused for a second. I was going to be like, haven't we talked about the setbacks in the band? And then I was like, actually, no. It's like so.
No, Vince.
Novid.
COVID, yeah.
That's what it is, Novid.
That's it. So
The Nova virus has come back in a new phone.
new phone.
A new phone, mate.
I thought that'd be
Samsung
Sally saying
FOMO.
that.
Galaxy
It's new FOMO, new fear of missing out.
But yeah, so obviously with the coronavirus and everything like that, or COVID-19, or however you want to say it,
Current events.
yeah, due to the ongoing current pandemic. Sorry, when it slipped into customer service, then, like, so I think actually no.
Are you okay?
My brain's doing somersaults and it can't figure out what it's trying to do. So I think if we talk about the plans that we had going into this, I can then talk about how they were set back. So so before all of the current shit happened.
There we go. We did it.
Uh,
Someone had to.
Yeah. So before all that happened, we were looking into recording and doing gigs and everything like that. I just realised my camera's over here, recording and doing gigs and stuff like that. But then, obviously, I think like we'd planned a gig for, I think it was March. We were supposed to be doing our first gig.
Yeah.
And like at the time, all was looking good for that.
And then it just disappeared.
Yeah, because obviously gigs weren't allowed to be happening anymore, and they still aren't by the time of this recording.
Yeah.
So I think obviously that's delayed the gigging and everything. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of had good things happen. So like as a band, we're a lot better now. Like
Well, I don't know,
everything
Jacob, it's
goes
been a few
together a lot
months
better.
since you've been able to get in the room.
As of the
I
last
think-
time we could
I
practice.
think that I think as a unit
Yeah.
we work a lot better now. Like not even necessarily musically. I think this situation has brought us closer, not necessarily as friends, because I feel like we were already very close friends, although for some of us it has brought us much closer as friends. But like,
It's a big smile right there.
shut up. But like, I feel like, because obviously they obviously probably don't know this at the moment, but we're not rehearsing at the moment because of the national lockdown. But there have been points during the tier systems where we have been able to rehearse. So it's all been dependent. But when we're not rehearsing, we are calling every week without fail. And we have like a band meeting, and then we just have a chat and like kind of figure out what we want to do. And like, I feel like we've kind of gotten on top of like our social media and like the way we interact with each other and the way we interact online and the way we get things done now, like outside of the band room. I think that's improved so much compared to where we were before with that. And I don't think we would have achieved that without this, which I don't know if you guys remember. Well, Alan probably remembers, but Jacob, like, I was having quite a lot of issues with that prior to like all of this kicking off, and we kept having like sit downs in the band room about it, and kind of me getting a bit stressed and stuff and being like, I can't manage this. I don't know how to split this up properly. I don't know how to kind of get everyone doing what they need to do. And I feel like this has made us all take the responsibility we need to take for like different roles kind of thing, like, and making rotas for things and making sure that no one's getting overwhelmed, and like doing things like this, like podcasts, and just like
Games.
making and gaming, and like and making plans to do like covers or whatever, like things we can do. We've had to think outside the box, and I think all of that has definitely come from the fact that we can't do what we would normally do in our box. Which I do miss it. I really miss being in the rehearsal room with you guys, like, because there's definitely something cathartic about it, and like there's like an energy in there. But I think
too. We all think.
I'm not sure about myself, but
sorry, I just heard something. I think like as much as we've faced setbacks, right, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to explain that. Like, somebody has a sex scene going on in the background somewhere. Like,
oh, does that mean mine can be heard? That's probably
yes.
my mic doesn't usually pick this stuff up, but at the same time, I'm not usually silent for this long.
Jacob.
I'd say whoops, but it's not me.
I thought you were watching porn. You were like
No.
deadly still. You were deadly silent. You were like frozen. And then this moaning just started. And I was like frozen. I was like, there's definitely sex going on. Like,
Probably it is, but it's just not.
like,
somewhere in the world. Sex
I am innocent.
Me like trying to just keep talking.
Yeah, that kind of explains it now.
Oh man. But yeah, I feel like we've definitely gained something from it in how like we've gotten all this sorted, because I feel like it would have taken us so much longer to sort this all out if we'd still been rehearsing. And I feel like we can definitely carry this forward for when we do go back into the rehearsal rooms. But I obviously do feel what you were saying about the setbacks of, we were planning to record obviously the EP that we've been talking about, and flashing all over social media and being like, EP is coming soon, and it's not, is it?
Yeah.
Like
Putting teasers
you know,
out for songs and then just like, yeah, can't do that now.
yeah, like we were meant to be like traveling to record that EP, and we can't do that, so as a result, the EP is not being recorded. So that's a definite setback.
Songs are good though. The songs are good. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like the song, so at least there's that. I feel like our songwriting has faced a setback. I'm not afraid to admit that. Like,
it's definitely a lot harder to have to do absolutely everything at home.
yeah, I think for me, like, I gel the writing with you guys a lot in person, like, because it's harder to change things vocal to instrument online. Like, it's harder to be like, can you just make that like a second shorter? Can you just like, that tone slightly wrong, and for you to be able to hear what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, if we're just sat together, I can sing it and you can be like, okay, I can hear exactly what you need me to do.
Yeah, like when we were writing, I can say it's for Anonymous because that one's on there. That's what I was trying to think, like, which one can I say? Because I wanted to say the other one.
Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Which one, but that one's not been put up yet, so
yeah.
I can't say it. So like when we were doing that, I think we spent some time apart, and we both came up with ideas, and then we all kind of got together and went, well, this is what we've all got, and then pieced it together from there, and then went back and it, well, let's change this bit, let's move this, let's add this in, let's get rid of that. Alan, what you're doing, that's awful. And that tends to be how it goes.
Yeah, like, I think the way we write isn't like, I've seen the way other bands write. For example, Bring Me the Horizon put some videos up of their writing process, and like, we really don't write in as clinical a way as some other bands seem to. Like Bring Me the Horizon are a good example because they write quite similarly to us in terms of they just kind of flow with what's working. And obviously they had to adjust to a lockdown thing, but they did most of it while they were all locked together.
Yeah.
And I'm like a lot of our writing process with the vocal writing and the lyric writing comes from me writing something, singing it to them how I think it needs to sound, them working what I wrote it to, just tweaking it so that it fits.
Like the song that can't be named at the minute, the way that started is you wrote a couplet and then went from there and came back with a full song like the night after.
Yeah, literally. And then I gave you like
I think you gave me a chorus.
I think I gave you the couplet, the chorus, and a verse, and I was like, what do you think of this? Because it gave you like a rough idea of the overall sound.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, I like it. And then I left you with that, and then I came back the next day and I was like, it's finished.
Yeah. And then so I'm like, great, okay, sugar. I did what I could, obviously listened over it, and then I took it into Jacob one day in the band room and like, so I sent me this is what I've done. Jacob liked it, did a bit of drums to it, and obviously at that point you came in, we showed you it, and then I think a week later we had like a rough outline of exactly what we were going to do, which I've still got a copy of because that's now basically it, with like obviously some alterations later on, changing chords we play, slightly changing the lead parts, the rhythm parts, the drums have changed. I think some of the lyrics have changed, how we start it, how we end it, and like that's also got some ideas for what we want to do in regards to a music video on it, so we can kind of keep that idea on where we want it to go.
Yeah, and even for like, even as far back as like Trouble, like that started out as I had these ideas for lyrics. Like I'd written the original song like God, February 2018, 17,
Sometime before this.
2018,
Yeah,
I
18.
think. February 2018. And then it wasn't ready. No, it would have been February 2017 that I wrote the original song, surely. Wait, was it? I don't remember.
Well, I know it was about Thingy.
Yeah.
Thingy?
Oh.
Thingy.
Yeah, so it would have been. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a throwback.
Don't call him that.
Well, I don't want to start throwing names out.
Yeah, no, don't throw names either, but don't call him that.
Okay.
That makes it sound like there's bad blood.
There's no bad blood.
It's
about
about
a person.
somebody. It's about somebody. I still
A
care
male.
about him.
He-
You know.
From what I can see, I'm sure he's a good person, but I don't really know him, so I can't really say 100%.
Yeah.
He makes some funny Twitters. That's the most I can say about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I consider him to be a good friend of mine who I support very much and always will. That's all I have to say about him. And that's fine. But yeah, I wrote the original song like way back when, and then like when we first got the room, I was kind of like chilling, just writing odds and ends, and then Jacob was just like bashing away on the drums, and I was just like, yo, now that I can hear some drums, I'm just gonna write this song, and that's literally how it happened. Like I could just hear some drums, and I was like, okay, so I rewrote it, because like the original write, I don't know, it had a slightly different meaning to what it means now. Similar, but slightly different. And I rewrote it to be more kind of just a general pop punky song, like, you know. And then I wrote it, and then Ollie arrived, and I was like, yo, listen to what I wrote. And I sang it to him with the entire melody that it currently has. And he was like, okay, sing it again. And then he put guitar behind it. And that's trouble.
That's pretty much how most of the songs go.
I think I don't know if that's how writing normally works, but usually when I write, I know how it sounds already in my head. So I can already sing it. Like I write it with a melody in mind. So the boys just kind of have to deal with that.
It's fine though, because like it definitely helps us try and improve, because obviously you want it in a certain key, and we've obviously then got to spend, usually it's no more than 30 seconds really, is it? We've got to find what key it's in and then play around that to see right, what chords are going to fit with where we're singing where. And then from there, drums, simple bass, simple lead, and simple rhythm, and then build on it and go, what can make this song sound even better?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's important to note as well, like another point as well, like if you do write and if you are planning on starting to write and things like that, like even as a fully formed band, supposedly, we are toast.
We've got the core.
Even as a fully formed band who are like currently releasing music, the number of like fully written, ready to record songs that we bin off, like you would not even believe. Like, don't get down on yourself if you write for like 3 days straight and you can't take any of it and you're just like, this is all crap. Because like for the past like month I've barely written anything, and I'm like, this is shit. But I've got so much uni work and stuff, and like I look back at the stuff we have written and I'm like, you know, I know we can do this. So I'm not gonna get stressed about it. I'm just gonna wait because I know it'll come.
Yeah.
Because my brain is like that. It'll just
happen.
It'll just do it, and then I'll be like, guys, guess what I did?
In the thoughts of binning stuff off as well, like we're not even 2 weeks into this year yet, and we binned off one already this year that we were set that was going to be on the EP.
That's true.
Obviously, we want to look into something similar in the future, but that got binned off. Towards the end of 2020, we binned off a different one because it was just...
It was causing unrest in the band, wasn't it?
It was silly, basically.
Yeah, I think...
From a guitar standpoint, it was silly. From what we were having to play to get the sounds we were getting was just stupid.
Yeah, and I think like both of those songs were good songs. Like we could release them and I could see them genuinely getting like play from people that listen to our songs.
Yeah.
But the issue is like they just didn't work for us. Yeah. Like, and if something doesn't work for us, we're just like, well, it's not worth the time we're gonna waste on it. Yeah. It's better to just move on. Like at one point, were you here? Yeah, you were.
Yeah, because I was part of it. I was sat there going, yeah.
At one point when Alan like pretty much first arrived, we binned off like pretty much the entire...
We finished on like, 3 songs. No, 4 because it was just after a
discography. Like we had an entire whiteboard of songs and I was like, we're binning them all.
I think we finished with Trouble, the other 2 originals, Space, and the new one that we were just talking about, which was literally written like 2 weeks before that. So we went from like having 20 songs down to 5.
I think it was like, I counted just before and it was 24.
Yeah, so 24 songs down to 5.
Yeah.
Obviously, it sounds like a big bite.
Because I'm like that. Yeah, but the others weren't finished, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, and we just kept having all these notes up, and then others just sounded shit, and we were just pretending they didn't because we wanted to have finished songs. We've got more of a focus now, I feel, on having finished good songs.
Yeah.
That are actually like our sound, and I think that's important.
100%. The amount of stuff that we all come up with, and I've got a hard drive full of the stuff because I don't see a point in getting rid of it because I might need it in the future. But the amount of stuff we write small amounts of, take it out, and I think so far one has got through this year, which I sent to you. But even then, we've got a lot to work on with it. And that's the one that, obviously, I brought the 3 across with the idea board. And then scrapped 2 of them. Because that's like spent like 2 weeks writing these 3 10 to 30 second long pieces. Ended up with 1. Me and Jacob worked on that, sent it to Sarah. She's like, right, so that's bad.
That's not what I said.
That's not what she said.
I actually said, that sounds like a chorus, not a verse. And then that one sounds like a chorus when it should have been a verse because that chorus sounded like a verse.
So there is some work. It might stay, it might not. Who knows? Probably us in the future. So future us, please let me know. Does it work?
Probably not.
We'll find out.
Well, it's going to take...
I've already found out.
No, I am happy for it to stay, but it will take a lot of work, and yeah. I don't think you're going to do it. I think you'll start on something new because that's what you do.
Well. If it doesn't click straight away, it gets put in the maybe later pile.
Yeah, because of how much work there is to do on that one piece. I know that you will just go,
I mean,
it's not worth it, because you're like me with my music. If I look at something and I go, there is too much to do on that song, like I did with our entire list of songs, I'll just go, nope.
Again, if it clicked like that one that I really want to name but obviously can't yet, if it was like that one, I was happy to put the work in because that one just clicked and felt amazing. Like I've been saying, it's like this one that I was like, yeah, I want to re-record the ending, I want to redo the solo in here, I want to change this bit here, and it's just like, all right, do it. It's like, Yeah, so I want to change the ending. Yeah.
See, I don't really like. I don't know. I'm different because obviously I try and see it from your guys' point of view, like a more well, not your guys, but like everyone's point of view. But I try so hard to be different in every song I write.
Yeah.
Like drums wise, because 99% of artists or bands anyway, their drums will be very similar or very like by the book. So I'm trying to like I've always tried to for every single song I write make it different in like by the majority of it. But then when you bin so many songs,
Like with I could name this one because we've got rid of it. Yes, V3. There was a part
well,
that you
that
were
wasn't even the
adamant
actual
you
name.
wanted to. No, it was. Yes, V3.
No, it wasn't.
In my head, that's the name it's always going to
Because it
be.
never got further than that.
Yeah. So like we got to that, and you absolutely love the drums you wrote for that. And
Oh
then
yeah, they're
when we
still
told you
good.
we were scrapping it, you're like, "What? No!" And I think for like 2 weeks after it, you're asking me still just to play it, just so you can play the drums for it.
I think the issue with some of those things though is that it's just not pop punk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that was the problem with Yes V3.
yeah,
It wasn't pop punk, and we're a pop punk band. Like, so as much as like even I liked it initially, but I couldn't write to it because it didn't fit any of the stuff I was writing, and I didn't want to write another imposter that we were going to scrap.
yeah.
Like I'd already gotten into the frame of mind at that point that I was only writing things we were going to keep.
Yeah, I remember an interview, like, not that I did the interview, by the way, with Dave Grohl, and that definitely didn't do that.
I remember a chat I had with old Davey boy.
But he was saying, I can't remember which song it was, but when he was writing it, he was like, right, but is this a Foo song? Is this a Foo Fighters song, or is it not? So when you write it, you got to keep that in mind. Like for him, it's easy because he's in like 10 different bands at one time. So if you don't write it for one band, it's like, oh, this will fit in with Queens of the Stone Age or something like that. So you got to obviously, whatever you write, there's a lot of stuff I obviously won't send because it just turns into hardcore death metal, and I don't think we're ever going to do that, to be honest. So
You never know.
you never know. So it can be difficult though to write like just within one genre. Like it's nice to get rid of all like the creative flow you've got for one thing, get rid of it all, like just play it all out, and make sure you're listening to the music you want to write.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important because I think it's definitely harder to write music that fits in your genre if you're not listening to that music. Like, I think the weird thing is, like, it was me who preached this at the beginning of this band. And like, I followed it. Like, I've always listened to pop punk. I've always been a big fan of pop punk. But I think I definitely slacked on it quite a lot. But then, like, I got my, like, Spotify Wrapped this year. Well, last year, I guess. And I had, like, some crazy amount of new artists discovered or whatever, and new genres discovered as well. I was like, how many genres even are there? But that's not what's important. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I need to keep on this track. I need to keep discovering more people. And I was like, right, I need to like actually get on what I said I was going to do and like make pop punk playlists and actually like listen to them regularly and like get in my headspace when I'm writing of being like on that vibe. And it needs to be like these modern pop punk bands that other people are listening to. People like that person who I wrote that song about, who gave me many recommendations some time ago.
Intertwined.
Everything links back.
Like, honestly, if I ever wanted to ask anyone for recommendations, I would ask him because, like, he gave me some, like, way back and I ignored them for, like, months. Then I really awkwardly tried to look them up when we weren't talking anymore the first time. And I accidentally like reacted a message while I was scrolling through and I was like, oh, kill me now. And I had to like really, really awkwardly, hurriedly explain and be like, I'm so sorry. I really just wanted those music recommendations. Like, And you know, when a situation is just like awkward, doesn't explain it, like it doesn't come close. And he was just like,
Get the big blue thumb.
I
No,
was
just the
like-
one, Jacob.
I was like, go. But I got the music recommendations and I listen to all of those bands now and more, many more. Alan is aware of this. I've been making playlists and like
wonderful.
I am on it. I am like so hyped about pop punk at the moment. And I've like booked so many gig tickets that are totally going to happen. I'm so ready for all these gigs that are happening in 2021. They're happening, right?
September, here we come.
Maybe something minor all in May.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like my loan came in and I was like, gigs. So I booked like every gig that I could ever imagine wanting to go to. Well, not quite, but like I booked a lot. And then I was like, yeah, it's gonna be great. And then they were like, national lockdown. And I was like, what?
What is this?
What do you mean?
But geek.
So yeah. Sad.
The big sad.
But I hope they happen. They might happen.
Same.
I'm pretty sure that Set It Off is meant to be in May. The one that's been rescheduled multiple times since October 2019.
That's
And
still
if-
my favourite cover we've done yet.
And if that gets rescheduled again from May, I'm going to cry. What if that ends up being in October 2021?
2022.
Like 2 years from its original date.
That'd
It wouldn't
be-
surprise me, to be honest. Like, I think the gigs I've got in May are all delayed from like March last year.
Yeah, you've got I Prevail. I've got I Prevail.
Yeah, and then Shikari, which are both around the same time, and then it's supposed to be going download, but it's not downloads. I think I've resigned myself to download not happening because that's 100,000 people all together in a field, whereas the other gigs are like
I
less.
think they said they're cancelling all music festivals in the next few weeks, possibly.
Yeah. We'll just have to
The
see
biggest of
what
sads.
happens in, because it's February, I believe. It's the end of February that is like, we're going to get big Mr. Boris coming up and going, right, you've all been good kids. You're free to play out now. I saw that.
I just smacked my mic. It's all
Nice.
good. Right,
So,
okay.
headphone users.
So moving swiftly on from gigs, because I think that's what we're going to talk about next week. Like gigs that we've been to, gigs that we're going to, people we've met, etc. Yes? Is
Yeah.
that the plan?
That's
Yes,
the
I
one.
believe so.
We'll say this
Okay.
again at the end to make sure.
Okay. So let's not talk anymore about that because that would be a bit
Silly.
pointless. Because I very nearly did. I very nearly just launched into something and I was like, wait, that would be
That'd be
very stupid to
week.
do right now.
That would be disastrous.
all right, Ed Sheeran.
So yeah, the only other thing I can really think of is have we made any like other friends through the band really? Like obviously
Avenhams.
Yeah, I was gonna say we know the Avenhams, like we know them through the rehearsal space, but obviously me and Ollie knew them already. And it was just like convenient. But yeah, they're really cool. Like their music is sick. Their music is better than our music. Like
I mean,
you
I
should
wasn't
go
gonna
listen
say
to
it,
their music.
but yeah, if you find them on Spotify or something, give them a listen, give them a big thumb.
Yeah, go listen to the Avenhams.
Top notch. Like I think they're on BBC. Was it Lancashire or what?
Yeah, we'll link in the description to the Avenhams somewhere. Go listen to them. They're actually really dope. And honestly, even if you don't like our music, you'll probably like theirs because everyone likes the Avenhams. So, you know.
They've got some good
Also,
stories
I
as well.
believe they are looking for a lead guitarist. So if
Yes.
they haven't found one yet and you are interested, then
And in their area as
Mhm.
well.
yeah, you need to be in the area and serious. So maybe we'll get them on at some point and
I hope
get them
so.
chatting about something probably music related.
Jazz and Tom in
Um,
the same room again. Can we handle it still?
I mean, if it's not physical and
Maybe.
they can't break any sinks, then yeah, I reckon I can cope.
There we go.
Oh man, I think that's about it. I can't
Yeah.
think of anyone else.
Yeah, I think there's like individual people I've met, but it's more like just people that I can be close to in terms of them helping me musically. So just people I know that I can now go to and just be like, oh, how does this sound and stuff like that.
Like that drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like there's just people in the building that like, or outside the building, just people in general musically, because I wasn't really in any music scene before joining the band. Like I was in, like obviously I went to gigs and stuff, but I wasn't like in a band myself or playing anything myself. So I think now that I have that, I have a lot more people around me to share that with, share my knowledge, them share their knowledge, kind of thing. So
It is
Yeah,
nice.
that definitely makes sense.
Right. It is very useful just to get to know people, even not in the same genre as you, just to talk to about it, get experience from, get information, get them to recommend you to places, you recommend them to places. Like it's all a give and take. Like,
Yeah, and to be
really-
fair, you'll often find that if you're close with like other bands who are like on the same level as you and stuff, they'll be kind of in the loop about gigs that are happening and like things. Like the Avenhams quite regularly kind of let us know if there were like pop punk things available and stuff. And like at the time we weren't ready for gigs, but like if we weren't in lockdown at the moment and those sort of situations arose now, you know, we would make it happen kind of thing. Well, we've just lost our bassist, but
we'd still make it happen. I can do it with my mouth.
In principle. Do you know what I mean though? Like you can form good connections with other musicians. It doesn't have to be a competition. And I will say quite confidently that I do know some people in this music scene who clearly do see it as a competition and who I am no longer friends with because of it. So there's that too.
Like there's nothing wrong with healthy competition, trying to improve yourself to then be as good as somebody else who you think's better than you. Like do that, but don't put anybody else down.
Yeah,
don't
it's
try and climb
really,
over
really
people.
important to support your friends who are musicians. Like, if you're a musician yourself and you're struggling to make it, and then you don't support your other friends who are musicians, yeah, it says a lot about your character. That's all I'm gonna say. Because we're not gonna get all targeted or anything, but
no. Like, one day someone could look up to you. In a few years, it could be the other way around, where you're then looking up to them. But because you didn't build that friendship, you've then not got that chance to talk to them. You've not got that chance to connect with them, to then build yourself to a higher level that someone else has got to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really just all about, at the end of the day, this is life. Like, you only get one, so have a good time and be supportive and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Brought to you by 20YTL.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I think that basically covers us as a band.
For now.
Yeah, for the immediate present and past.
Yeah, we will update you if anything further happens. But until next week, when we will talk to you about
gigs and shiz.
Gigs and events and such, and maybe invite somebody to talk with us. We'll see.
See what we can do.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, all. Enjoy
Bye-bye.
your morning, evening, afternoon, night.
Yes, and thank you very much for spending this time with us.
However long it's been, I don't know. I can't. There's no time.
About 2 hours, just under.